Hi, I'm Tatiana Mejia. There are two ways to be happy. One is traveling and the other one is eating. A few years ago, I discovered a way to merge these two passions that fill my soul, cooking and traveling. And so, As Tu Viaje Gourmet was born, the first gastronomic tourism agency in Latin America. What do we do here? Very simple. We connect cultures, flavors, and traditions with curious travelers like you looking for more than just a destination. They are looking for an experience to savor with all their senses. In each episode, once a month, we will explore how wonderful it is to discover a country or a place through its food. Whether from a hidden corner in a small rural kitchen or at a renowned chef's table, food can tell stories. Trust me, unite generations and open doors to new cultures. Today, I'll introduce you something very special, getting started in food tourism. But why is it important to talk about this? We live in a world where traveling has become an increasingly accessible experience. However, we often only see the surface of the destination. Have you been the typical tourist taking pictures and getting to know the most popular attractions? I have done that. We leave aside what truly connects us with the places we visit. Gastronomy is the bridge that takes us to the heart of each culture, allowing us to understand its history, costumes, and above all, its people. In this first episode, we will lay the foundations of what Bites and Sights is all about. I want us to understand together that gastronomic tourism is not just going to a local restaurant when we travel. I think you have done that too. It is an entirely different way of getting to know the world, a way of immersing ourselves in the daily life of the destinations, of learning directly from the hands that prepare those dishes that tell stories. It is unbelievable. It is a multi-sensory journey where every bite tells us about generations of costumes and unique landscapes. This initial chapter is very important. It is very important because it is the one that will open our minds to a new way of traveling. From this first episode, I would like to start asking you a question. Are you ready? Okay. How can I connect more authentically with the destinations I visit? Think about it. I think you're ready. Okay. The answer is straightforward. Through their food. Whether savoring an arepa with cheese in a street market in Colombia, exploring the parrilladas in Argentina, eating some anticuchos in Peru, or savoring some locos con mayo in Chile. Oh my God. Gastronomy offers us a direct gateway to the traditions and people that make up the soul of those places. In addition, gastronomic tourism invites us to discover new flavors and preserve and value ancestral cultures. Actually, in the next episodes of this season, we will talk precisely about this. How each traditional dish carries a story, how recipes are passed from generation to generation, and how by tasting those flavors, we are keeping alive the essence of people and communities. Today, more than ever, we must be conscious travelers. Gastronomic tourism allows us to be so. It invites us to travel more responsibly, supporting local economies, promoting sustainability, and respecting the authenticity of each culture. That is why talking about gastronomic tourism is crucial. It fills our stomachs and feeds and satisfies our souls and minds. In this episode, we'll start with the basics, understanding food tourism and why is the best way to know the world. Trust me. Get ready for a season full of flavors, stories, and deep connections with the destinations we will explore together. Let's go straight to today's leading topic. I will tell you everything you need to know about gastronomic tourism, a way of traveling far beyond visiting traditional tourist sites. As I mentioned, this tourism connects deeply with local cultures through food. Today, I hope you'll finish this episode with a clear idea of how enriching it can be to travel with your palate and how you can start doing it too. So let's start with the basics. What is gastronomic tourism? Gastronomic tourism is a way of traveling where the main focus is the destination's gastronomy. But make no mistake, it's not just about eating typical dishes in famous restaurants. It is an experience that immerses you in the culinary traditions, the local ingredients, the methods of cultivation and preparation, and the people who, through their cuisine, tell the story of their ancestor and their culture. It is such an amazing way to travel. When you practice gastronomic tourism, you activate all senses. Each place has its unique flavor shaped by his story, geography, climate, and people. Food becomes a universal language that allows us to better understand others and connect more authentically with the destinations we visit. Why is food tourism important? Think about it. Food is one of the quickest ways to connect with cultures. You can learn a lot about a country by seeing its landscape or listening to its music. Still, when you sit down at the table and taste what that land produces, you really begin to understand the essence of the place. The recipes, ingredients, and local cooking techniques tell us about a centuries-old history, influences that cross borders, and respect for the land and resources. This is especially true in countries like the ones we will mention today. In Colombia, Argentina, Chile, and Peru, in each of them, gastronomy is deeply linked to their national identity and their most cherished traditions. In Colombia, for example, arepa and sancocho aren't just dishes, are symbols of the community. In Argentina, the asado is more than a meal. It is a social event. In Chile, la marisquería speaks how the country links to the sea, while in Peru, superfoods such as quinoa and maca have nourished civilizations for thousands of years. Now, I want to share some practical tips for those who want to start practicing gastronomic tourism consciously and meaningfully. Well, it is a matter of eating and understanding, respecting, and celebrating what each place offers. But wait, I think you must be asking yourself, how does Tatiana start thinking about food tourism in South America when nobody was thinking about it? Well, let me tell you, I have been in tourism for more than 20 years. I had always wanted to look for a different factor from the competition. I began to investigate the destinations differently than I was used to. I was always learning about their natural and cultural attractions and just a few flavors in famous restaurants. Then I understood that everything was in the traditional and ancestral stoves. That is where I had to begin in a more conscious way to connect with each of the destinations. And believe me, I got to know and recognize that destinations again when I started traveling the As tu Viaje Gourmet way. It was around 2008. I began to live them more respectfully, celebrating each destination's tradition and culinary heritage that are part of the experiences we have created in Colombia, Peru, Argentina, and Chile. Well, but let's go straight to the points you should keep in mind. Are you ready? Let's start. Number 1, do your research before you travel. One of the best ways to start is by researching the gastronomy of the places you are going to travel to. Find out what dishes represent the region, what ingredients are used, and what the customs around food are. In places like Colombia, for example, you can find significant gastronomic differences between the Caribbean coast and the Pacific coast. Actually, it is like traveling within the same country through its food. I recommend the Netflix documentary Street Food Latin America for those who want to learn more about Latin American gastronomy. Number 2, explore local markets and gastronomic fairs. I assure you that you will not regret it. Visit the local markets. The markets are the soul of the gastronomy of any destination. It's where you can see the fresh produce, talk to the vendors, and understand where the ingredients come from. Markets are a history and geography lesson, because the products you find there tell you about the region's climate, season, and agricultural traditions. When I travel to Argentina, for example, I like to try the empanadas they sell in the small stalls, but with many people waiting for their turn to buy. This indicates that you are in for a good taste in your mouth. From Chile, for example, nothing is better than going straight to the caletas to connect with the local fishermen. For example, in Puerto Varas or Los Vilos, you will find loco, pure, or sea urchin to accompany your wine. Or why not, a pisco sour. I really love pisco. Well, but there is the number 3. Be a conscious traveler. By practicing gastronomic tourism, you are also helping sustainable and local economy. Eating at family restaurants, buying local produce, and supporting small producers are ways to contribute to the well-being of the communities you visit. In addition, you are encouraging sustainable practice by opting for responsibility grow and harvest food. I had several stories, but I will tell you what always happens to me at an airport. I enjoy buying locally so much, but I really enjoy buying local food. And my suitcase is always full of food, and it's mandatory check before boarding the plane. There are always a few required questions, and I have always to open my bag and explain what I'm carrying on. I usually always have to explain what I do for a living. I work in gastronomic tourism, I was in a field trip, and I need to explain a little bit more about the destination. Tell them how it is prepared and where I get it. They are usually terrified that they don't know about their local products, that there are a lot of things that they are just taking a look in a suitcase from a foreign woman. It's not common for a person to carry on so many foods in their suitcase. Some of them so unknown as those who travel with me after a field trip. That's how we call work trips and tourism. Yeah, I know. Maybe you are thinking about like in the school, the field trip. Well, in Spanish is trabajo de campo. But trust me, gastronomic tourism is so unique. It is about tasting new flavors and learning directly from the communities about their history and how they have kept their traditions alive over time. I enjoy working with different Afro-Indigenous and peasant or rural communities who teach me and allow me to live like them, taste and connect with the stories behind each flavor and sip, and in those traditional and ancestral stoves. I am going to share with you some facts that you may not know about this way of traveling. Well, according to the World Tourism Organization, more than 88% of travelers recognize that gastronomy is essential to their travel experience. That means that food is, for most people, one of the most critical aspects when choosing a destination. In countries such as Italy and Spain, gastronomic tourism represents much of their tourism offer. These countries have used their culinary richness to attract millions of tourists annually. In South America, this sector is in full growth, with countries such as Peru, which has been recognized several times as the best culinary destination in the world. In Argentina, for example, barbecue festivals are popular with locals and attract tourists worldwide who want to experience this deeply rooted cultural experience. With this curious fact, we end the first episode, where we discover together what gastronomic tourism is and how food connects us deeply with destinations we visit. We learn how every dish is a story, a living tradition that allows us to better understand local cultures and their ways of life. I'd love to hear your stories. What gastronomic experience have impacted you? And are there any dishes that have surprised you on your travels? Tell me about it in the comments or in our social networks. You can find me on Instagram as astuviajetm. There, we can continue to chat, share photos and recipes, and create a community of travelers who experience the world through flavors. I have set a little poll on Spotify. I want to know which of the 4 destinations mentioned, Colombia, Argentina, Chile, or Peru, would you like to explore first through its gastronomy? Don't forget to answer and become part of this wonderful community. In the next episode, we will discuss how gastronomy allows us to connect more deeply with destinations. I'll show you examples and tell stories that will change your look at each dish when traveling. Don't miss it. And remember, this space is for you. Let me know what you'd like to hear in future episodes by commenting here or on Instagram. If you enjoyed this episode, I invite you to subscribe to the podcast to avoid missing next ones. Also, if this content can inspire other travelers or food lovers, share it and comment. It's a fantastic way to help more people discover this conscious way of traveling. That wraps up today's episode. Remember that every journey and bite is an opportunity to connect more deeply with the world around us. So, whenever you are, don't stop exploring, tasting, and discovering. Ultimately, the best way to get to know a place is to eat it. I'll hear from you in the next episode. Until then, keep traveling with an open heart and treat your taste buds. This is Bites and Sights, Tatiana Mejia. See you.